This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and this is a Tay Short, episode 19. Last week I spoke about trips versus vacations. And guess what? I just got back from a trip. It was a mini road trip. My mom and I flew to Atlanta. From Atlanta, we went to Alabama. From Alabama, we stopped in Mississippi briefly, and then we went on to Louisiana, to New Orleans. Um, I hadn't been to Alabama since 2016. I hadn't been to New Orleans since 2015. Both of those visits were long overdue. I got a chance to see family, meet some family, eat some good food, and do a little bit of genealogy research. Um, and that's one of the main reasons why I went there. Um, I wanted to do some research. Uh, so a couple years ago, I was looking at a record, 1900 census from Dallas County. I've had this record for years, but I'm really examining it, and I noticed that it said precinct 16 Cahawba. What the hell was that? Right? And why didn't I notice this before? And so I Googled what Cahawba was, and come to find out, Cahawba was once Alabama state capital from 1819 to 1926. And before that, the natives lived there. But this thriving town, this community, had everything. But unfortunately, some natural disasters happened, wars happened, things happened, and the town died off or down because no one lives there now. It is a archaeology park and historical site. So when I found out about this, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go. Next time I go to Alabama, I have to go. Maybe my family lived there. I gotta go. So that was one of the reasons that I took this trip. So after driving from Georgia to Alabama, Wednesday morning, my mom and I get up and drive to Old Cahawba, which is about 15 miles outside of Selma, Alabama. We get there, we meet this gentleman named Jonathan, and he tells us about the history of Cahawba, and he gives us a map. Now, usually the park is open from I think 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Sunday. But on from Thursday to Sunday, the visitor center is open. And just so happened that this day he was there on a Wednesday and was able to, answer any questions that we had and talk to us. Now, there are a couple ways that you can, well, actually, three ways that you can tour the grounds. You can drive, you can walk, or you can bike. Now, you know me. I chose the bike. So my mom and I got on these brand new bikes. They're like cruisers. And we rode around the grounds. We did 4.6 miles that day. And I can truly say it was a really fun experience, right? Not only that I'm riding on a bike, with my mom. We each had separate bikes, but I'm riding bikes with my mom. But I'm also touring this once state capital of Alabama. It was a really cool experience. It wasn't too hot, and it was hot now. Let me tell you, it was hot, but it wasn't like hot, and humid. And each site, each marker that we stopped at, we got off, took pictures, read about what was once here. It was really a dope experience, and I'm glad that I went. I'm glad I made it a point to go. I still don't know if my ancestors lived actually in the town of Cahaba or just right outside of it. I need to do some more digging, but it was cool because what if they did live there, right? And even if they didn't, I'm on a bike exploring this ghost town that they call it, right? America's most famous, I mean, not America's, Alabama's most famous ghost town. I don't want nothing to do with that at all. Nothing. Let me ride around, see the sights, take some pictures, and leave. I don't want nothing to do with no ghosts, nothing. But it was great to explore, these sites. It'd have been cool in a car, don't get me wrong, but it would have been different. It wouldn't have had that same effect, to me. And we could have done that tour in the car in like 20 minutes. This took us a little longer than 20 minutes, and we took our time. And it was like we had the whole park to ourselves. Towards the end of our tour, we did see some people, but they were touring in the cars. Um, they might have guided tours, again, when the visitor center is open, but we got ourselves a map and just rolled around to each site and figured it out. And you can't get lost because you can't get lost. Um, but yeah, it was really cool. Then after that, going a little further down south, because of course my family has to be at the deepest part of Alabama, right? They can't be in like Montgomery or Birmingham. No, y'all have to be from Mobile. You have to be deep. So we drove further down and explored Mobile, um, which is cool. Very streets to me similar to you'll see in New Orleans. From the structures to how the streets laid out, even the cemeteries. Then after that, after visiting some family um, and trying to do some more research there, we drove to New Orleans. New Orleans. Yeah. I wish I had more time there. Um, of course, we went to the French Quarters, walked Bourbon Street, um, had beignets twice, 2 days in a row. Had to. They were so good. Uh, had some jambalaya, uh, catfish po' boy. It was good. I had a good time and some good food. Damn, I'm just reminiscing. Uh, yeah, and we just explored, walked around, got on the streetcars. It's just fun to explore for me to not really have like a sometimes have a set plan. Like I do want to do some things on this trip, but also let's just walk around this neighborhood that we've never been in before. Let's admire the structures. Oh, let's just go different places. I think it's for me that's how I like to travel. I like history and I like adventure. So combining those together, that's the ultimate trip for me. Then after that, we flew back home today. So I will rest tomorrow because I need it because I didn't rest on this trip, like I said before. But this was a really cool trip. I met family, saw family I hadn't seen in years. Um, went to a few cemeteries that my ancestors are buried in. Um, really dope to me. I know you may say, well, going to cemeteries? Yes. Uh, if you would have asked me a few years ago, Like, hey, you want to go to this? Oh, you're like, I was in a cemetery at night one time. I would have never thought I would have been in the cemetery at night. I didn't go to the cemetery at night. It just got dark and I was still looking for something. So I'm running around with my light, like, oh, maybe. But yeah, I do enjoy a good cemetery, actually. For another time, another time. Anyway, I had a really dope trip. And any trips or vacations you have coming up for the summer? Because it's officially summer now. I think I'm done. I say that now. And I'll do another take short where I'm talking about a trip I went on. But I think I may be done. Any trips or vacations you're taking this summer? Let me know. Are they specific to something? Like, are you going, if you're going on a trip, are you going for this thing? Like, I'm going, like, I went on this trip for a few reasons, for research, see family, and to go to this park, archaeology park. What type of trip are you taking? What type of vacation are you taking? Let me know. This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace.